capital ship battles, fleet on fleet. What? I don't know what more there is to want. This is Star Citizen, right? This is quite literally the game we all wished we had. But now we have it in 3.14, XENOTHREAT version 2. Crazy, am I right? And you might be a fool for thinking that it runs smoothly without any problems. In fact, you would be a fool because you'd have to be blind and not play the game, or just an idiot because it doesn't run smoothly at all. And it's not just XENOTHREAT that has its problems. It's the entire patch 3.14, which is a real shame because if you watched my previous videos about 3.14 PTU, I did praise it quite highly. Yeah, we got a lot to go into, so stay tuned. And listen up, because if you want to know what 3.14 is like, or maybe how to get hold of your CDF special one-time only full set of armor, then you're going to want to stay tuned. All right, more on that to come. So, let's start. 3.14 and XENOTHREAT. Let's just get the ball out of the bag. It is a hit and miss topic. Some people have had great success. Just look at Spectrum. You'll see loads of videos or comments or just posts about how much fun people are having. I've had fun in XENOTHREAT too. I mean, look at all the beautiful footage. I captured it somehow, and that was by playing the game. But also, there's loads and loads of posts on Spectrum and experience that I have of the game just not working in a way that would, I don't know, maybe incentivize repetitive, continued enjoyment. Never done this mission. Never ever. Oh, 30k. Fuck, dude. What is the point? The game, Star Citizen that is really suffering from replayability. One major plaguing issue that has been affecting almost every player I know over on Spectrum and on Reddit for the past couple of patches now has been the inconsistencies with trading and purchasing of goods for sale. That's basically the basic format of trading. You go to an outpost, you buy a supply, and you go and sell it at a trading outpost somewhere else for more money than you bought it for. That's basic economy. It just hasn't worked at all, a singular bit. I think since 3.11, so that's 3 patches, we've had non-functioning trade and commerce, which has really affected a lot of players' ability to grind money. Right now, the only way to grind money repetitively and efficiently is either by doing XENOTHREAT while it's active, or just doing bounty missions against AI, that is, not players, because there's another issue we'll get into shortly with that. And the issue with doing bounties over and over again, unlike trade, is that it's very repetitive. But hang on a minute, isn't trading commodity also just repetitive? Yes, it is repetitive, but it's repetitive by choice, not by necessity. People choose to do trading when they choose not to do mining. And because trading and selling of commerce and goods doesn't work, that also means you can't sell and trade mining minerals. So there's no point going out there into one of the brand new spanking caves and mining some rare gems. It leaves you stuck in a place where those who don't care for combat have to partake in combat. And those that are maybe stuck with lower end ships because they don't want to give SIG all their money are behind when it comes to the power curve and power creep of the later, more lucrative missions. The ones that pay out the most. Maybe taking on a hammerhead. Don't know how you're going to do that in your Aurora. You could say finding friends, but then finding friends to play with is even harder now because of issue number 2, the DESYNC. DESYNC right now is out the wazoo. It is absolutely terrible. It's the worst I've seen it. And this comes off the back of many patches where server performance and stability has supposedly been improved. Game stability and performance is definitely doing okay, even during fleet-on-fleet battles with 2 or more capital ships rivaling it out. I'm getting maybe 30 to 40 FPS on a good server, but it's still extremely server dependent. It's not system dependent, and it's a real problem for people like me that have a ridiculous system, people like you that don't. It affects everyone, from the highballing whales down to people that just want to have a good time in the verse. DESYNC is ruining the replayability of the game, alongside factors like trade and commerce problems and other mission dependables. DESYNC is the biggest annoyance right now in 3.14, and it's also having a huge impact on XENOTHREAT. When I say DESYNC, I'm not talking about someone's connection to the server, okay? I'm talking about the actual server performance on SIG's end. It is notoriously bad this patch. 30Ks are happening more frequently if you haven't noticed. Less crash to desktops, which is good for me because that was an issue I was suffering in the beginning of 3.14, but more issues nonetheless that can't be avoided. Go on, tell me, how does the DESYNC make you feel?
It makes me want to drive my hand straight to my monitor, so frustrating it is.
Just go and have a look at your favorite plethora of information and you'll see an absolute onslaught of posts about the issue. Desync affects the game because basically when you're trying to have fun or when you're trying to engage a threat in XENOTHREAT, well, it becomes quite frustrating when they're teleporting all over the place and you have to snap your wrist into an out of human body experience like position to actually engage the target once again. It's frustrating to have to not only put your own money and tools through that strain, but to put your mind and muscles through that strain. It's painful to watch missiles or bullets not land. It's painful to randomly get disconnected halfway through an event without gaining reputation, without achieving any goals that you may have set for yourself. I mean, just think of it like this. To get your CDF armor, which we'll go into shortly, you have to achieve rank 3 in the reputation. Reputation is brand new since 3.13, 3.12, and it's supposed to facilitate this mechanism to engage players into replaying the game to earn rewards. But if every single time they try to earn those rewards, the servers crash and they have to restart, you can see how that might incentivize players to move on, which is a problem for both the players because they're frustrated, and SIG, and the rest of the community because their player-based shrinks, and then it becomes less fun for everyone. So let's talk about that incentive. The CDF reward, the full armor set, for you completing rank 3, and obviously playing the Heckin game mode a lot. Well, the CDF armor is this, as you've seen earlier on the video and on screen now. It is a replica, sadly, of the Obsidian helmet, the Lamont undersuit, and the True Death chest piece. Frankly, I'm disappointed, and I know that hundreds of others over on Spectrum are disappointed as well. I'm only going to say it briefly, but this is just a marketing issue on SIG's part. I think they bigged up and spoke too much about the whole reward system for reputation to only give us a copy and paste sticker as a change to the armor set to be fulfilling enough for the entire masses that are obviously upset by this. I'm sure it might change. In fact, I'm still trying to get the armor. I'm a shy off of rank 3. And the reason I'm doing it is because FOMO, I'm obviously worried I'll miss out on it and never be able to get it again. But it's more than likely that in the future, much like they have done in the past, they might update the armor set or change it when their design principles or their design concepts come into a line. And you might actually get something you're proud to have later on down the line. And boy, is that the time already. God, this video's going to go on for a while. Isn't it? Let's move on then to further issues that I'm having personally with Star Citizen 3.14. Let's move on to the big show, XENOTHREAT version 2. This is, of course, the second attempt that SIG has done for XENOTHREAT. And if you don't know what XENOTHREAT is, it's basically an event where a terrorist organization made up of ex-militants have captured and obtained ex-military equipment, also known as Idrises. That's the big, badass, capital-class destroyer ship that has hangars inside and a railgun that blows things up. They have a multitude of these, seemingly endless, if, you know, the missions and whatever are to go by. And your job is to head over to a space station called Jericho, which is an outpost just outside of Microtech, where you restock and resupply a Javelin. The Javelin being, of course, one of the best and biggest capital class ships in game with hundreds of thousands of guns. And it's not just there to look pretty. Both the Idris and the Javelin do take part in a ship-on-ship, capital-on-capital, fleet-on-fleet battle, which is extremely fun to take part in. You know, once, twice, maybe 3 times. After that, it's a little bit repetitive, because the rest of the mission, the rest of what gets you reputation, is basically just a fetch quest. Head over to this site, maybe you alone or you and some friends, and obtain some cargo. There's 3 different variants, each with their own restrictions. I'm not going to get into that because it might spoil a few things, it might spoil some of the challenges. But you're supposed to take these cargo items back to Jericho to refuel the Javelin, you and everyone else on the server that takes part. Of course, there are XENOTHREATs that pop in their arrows and their Cutlass Blacks or Valkyries or whatever, and you'll have some players that don't have freight ships, so they'll just come in with fighters and they'll grind away at the bad guys so you can get on with grabbing cargo. Frankly, it's a very involved and community-driven adventure. It really is. But that community, thanks to DESYNC, can cause problems. It's very common to be, I don't know, minding your own business, grabbing cargo, to only be shot in the back by a friendly who mistook you for an AI because on his screen, nothing's really going on and you're just stood there potentially. It happens, okay? People are people, the game is the game. That's just cycling back to the issue prior. XENOTHREAT's repetition comes down to the fact that it is, of course, stuck as is without server meshing. There is no way to dynamically change the events. It has to be scripted. So once you've got enough cargo, the Idris will come. At least that's what the coding language says. The outcome, however, is very different. It barely ever bloody arrives. The Idris just doesn't happen. Or maybe the wreck sites with all the cargo don't actually spawn in. This is another huge issue. And what's worst of all, when the mission does bug, there's no actual way to know, other than just by trial and error. To ask the server if people already know that it's bugged, or to attempt to complete it and then find out that it's bugged. The server doesn't crash or restart. There's no backup from SIG on their end where the code might just re-inject itself or restart the process to try and attempt to solve this problem. It literally is just a quit the server, go back to the main menu, and attempt to rejoin another, which of course is an open-ended problem because you can't choose what server you want to join in Star Citizen and therefore might just end up in the same one again. All of this and more leads me to saying that 3.14 XENOTHREAT is only fun if you're lucky. It is only fun if you're willing to put up with the pain. It is why Star Citizen has a big problem right now. We need server meshing, and we need better servers more than we need better gameplay. The gameplay, you could argue, is fine, but I don't know how we're supposed to get Pyro and the rest of it without server meshing and decent server backend. I am scared, but CitizenCon is just around the corner, and I can't wait to watch that with all of you over on my Twitch livestream. So, yeah, be there, or be square. And to have some kind of closing argument, I guess what I'm saying is, from SIG, I would like to see at CitCon some actual genuine examples of future things, future server meshing, actual examples that show us the possibility of the game. Not some single player demo run off of a native computer, not some made up photorealistic worm that jumped out of the sand. I want to see actual credible gameplay examples about the game that we all want to play today. So until then, catch you next time. And I'll end by just apologizing. I know I've been away. I'm actually really busy. I'm going to continue to be busy until about the 19th of September, so videos will be sporadic at best. But if you want to check out some cool content, then click on anything on screen right now. Maybe even subscribe and hit that bell button to be notified. I love you all. So, see you next time.